Hello, good morning. I am back in my office. I did do a video this morning. It was just a quick couple of minutes as it's Monday and it's now the summer. So happy June, everybody. And basically, I've been trying to painstakingly go through all of my paperwork. And one of the things I did come across was some information leaflets about bile acid malabsorption, which is what I suffer with. And to be honest, the information they actually give isn't that useful. It really needs updating. But the other thing that has also been going around on social media is that they're supposed to be doing some clinical trials for people that suffer with bile acid malabsorption. Now, these trials are very few and far between. So at the moment, obviously, I'm back in the hospital this week for more tests. But I seriously think, just like any illness or disability, unless people promote it and talk about it, no one knows anything about it. I mean, 10, 20 years ago, I started writing my book about Lou Gehrigtson's disease, which is a motor neurons disease called ALS. Stephen Hawking did have a form of that, but he broke the world record by living the longest with this condition. And now people are a lot more aware of ALS, whereas before they didn't, because the life expectancy of somebody with Lou Gehrigtson's disease was anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So how can you realistically do a trial on people or try and find a cure when it could take... You might not be diagnosed straight away, and then your life expectancy is anywhere from 3 to 5 years. It's the same with cancer. They have different stages, and they say the earlier it's detected, the quicker the prevention of it spreading can be reduced. Well, the thing with bile acid malabsorption is, as I have shared in the past, it's not very recognised. A lot of the time, people take it as, it's just a stomach upset, or I've had food poisoning, or, if you're a woman especially, it's your hormones, it's that time of the month. A lot of women get a lot of diarrhea and sickness because of PMT, and obviously the same when you're pregnant. And then after you've had the baby, you can still have the same symptoms. It gets classed as irritable bowel. So by the time they actually get around to telling you that it is bile acid malabsorption, after they've done every other procedure imaginable, it's a bit like too little too late. But one of the things that they never seem to ask you is, what colour is your poo? And that is a key indicator. There are these colour charts you can get online. Like for, loads of things, how can you tell if you've got an infection on your leg? How can you tell if a bite's infected? How can you tell if you've been bitten by a tick? It's the same for bodily functions. And if your feces is yellow, then that is a clear sign of suspected bile acid malabsorption. Not always, but it's an indicator. And yet, ever since I was 14, I was saying to them I was getting diarrhea, it was yellow, it wasn't smelling very great, it felt very acidic, it was burning me internally and externally when entering the body. And yet they just said, IBS. That's what it is. Irritable bowel. Take Buscopan, take this, take that, try peppermint, don't eat this, don't eat that. This week, I've really reduced how much I eat because obviously I'm having a colonoscopy, and they've given me Molvacol to drink, and I'm thinking, are you serious? Am I really going to need to drink this stuff? Because without fail, once again, I'm in my office, and this is the second time this morning alone that I've been in my bathroom. Or my office, as I call it. So again, I think it's not just about talking about these things, it's recognising them, and it's promoting them as well. And the charity organisation that supports people with bile acid malabsorption. It works in partnership with Coventry and Warwickshire University Hospital. And their leaflets, they are not very legible. I can't read them. The writing is way too small. It's way too compact. But again, if they had like colour charts or something in there, unless you're colourblind, they're a lot more easier to follow. They're a lot more user-friendly. And again, like I said, there needs to be more information. There is absolutely nothing anywhere publicised about bile acid malabsorption. Even at the hospital, when I was in Solomon Minor, he's one of the George Eliot characters. Even when I was in endoscopy ward the other day, again, there was no information about bile acid malabsorption. So when I do go back to the hospital later on this week, I'm going to take some information with me and say, look, why have you not got these posters on the wall? Why are you not informing people about these things? People are expected to sit in your waiting room for up to 5 hours before having any medical procedure done. And yet there's no information on the walls. The information that is on the walls, I can't even read it. And a lot of it's like warnings. It's about like antisocial behaviour and respecting the staff. But I can't read that information. It's in rainbow colours almost. And so if they were to say to me, why have you been abusive to the staff? It's on the wall. Don't be abusive. I'm not saying I would be. I'll be like, well, you've got a sign up that people can't even read. So don't have a go at me that your signs are illegible. So like I said, I'm in my office. I very much doubt they would ask me how many times I passed my bowel movements. All they're worried about is the fact that I'm completely clean as a whistle, so to speak. The only thing is, my ass is killing me. It's so sore. And I cannot use anything to soothe that pain. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to do the test. So I've literally got to be in pain. And believe you and me, after the procedure, I will be in pain as well, because I cannot have local anaesthetic. Because in order for me to have anaesthesia, I have to have someone look after me for 24 hours. And unfortunately, nobody is interested. I messaged about 3, maybe 5 people last week, asked them if I could stay with them or if they could take care of me whilst I undergo this procedure. My children are fine, they're safe, they're well, they're loved, they'll be with their dad, but we don't live together, so I'm not just going to go and sleep on his sofa. That's just weird. We're not in a relationship, and I don't really want my ex looking after me. Look after my kids, don't look after me, okay? Let me look after myself. And basically everyone's attitude was no. Even my mum's attitude was, I don't care if you're dying of cancer. You're not coming in my house. I'm not looking after you. So this isn't a cancer scare, by the way. It's just a routine procedure. But in the past, I have had to have tests for cancer. And even when I was undergoing the tests for cancer, and I said to my Mom, if I end up having cancer, would you allow me to move back in with you whilst I'm undergoing chemotherapy, if it's a possibility? Again, it was a no. No, you're not living in my house. I don't want you in my house. I don't want you in my house. I don't want your children anywhere near me. So if anyone wants to know where I get the being a heartless bitch from attitude, being the way I am, is it very some kind of psychiatrist? Yeah, it's from the mum. And I'm trying to make sure that my children, who are all boys, don't have that attitude. It's hard, but I don't want them to have the attitude and have no compassion for anybody. Whereas I was basically brought up with, even if you're on your deathbed, you're still going to school. So yes, I worked and worked and worked until I couldn't work anymore. And so here I am. But that doesn't mean I don't work. It just means that physically, mentally, and emotionally and psychologically, I can no longer do the jobs that I used to do. But again, like I said, from a young age, my parents' attitude was, the moment I left school, go and get a job. If you want to still live in my house, go and get a job. And then when my dad passed away, my mum's attitude was, get the fuck out of my house. There's nobody here to stop me kicking you out now. So basically that's what happened. So welcome to modern society, you know, where people aren't looking after each other anymore. You know, you don't have children and their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents all living under the same roof. Okay, houses aren't big enough. I mean, come on, all these brand new houses they keep building are like rabbit hutches. Anyway, I've got to go.
I looked at what that's